Welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle D, or Coach Danni D, and I help women to create luxury brands by creating processes and tightening their branding. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease and enjoy your life. My happy space is spending as much time as humanly possible in my pajamas. And I want to help others to find their happy space while still running profitable businesses. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello and welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danni D, always here helping you to find that space of balance where you are living a life that is joyful, fulfilled, um, just having a good time with life and loving what you do both professionally and personally, having great relationships with the people around you. That's my definition of, balance, also my definition of success. So that's what I'm here for, bringing those tips, insights, guest experts around that topic. All right. So today I want to talk about something a little different. We we are entering Lent. I know that some people practice Lent, some people don't. I from New Orleans, grew up in a very Catholic city, so Lent is something that we absolutely um, hold dear. Basically, if you're not from here, you start off the new year. January 6th starts off carnival season, leading up to Mardi Gras on um, Fat Tuesday, right? And so then the following day is Wednesday, is Ash Wednesday, is the first day of Lent. Why is that significant to today's conversation? So in New Orleans, in effect, Lent is our New Year's, right? As far as like, people really get big into New Year's resolutions and vision boards and all these different things. And while we do that here, honestly, nobody's taking it seriously until Lent comes around because basically, between, especially this year, has been, very active between New Year's, Sugar Bowl, Super Bowl, and then Mardi Gras is, now is the first time that people are kind of like settling in. And that's the whole theory behind Mardi Gras and Lent anyway. Like, so the carnival season is supposed to be the season of, just, for lack of a better way to say it, wilding out, followed by this season of like sacrifice and coming back to the other side of the street of like solemnness and, being more holy, I guess, right? So the reason why I bring it up is because I want to talk about the idea of a soft launch, right? And it's something that I utilize from time to time when I'm doing something new. And, in a lot of cases, like with our New Year's resolutions or whatever we're giving up for Lent or whatever we're doing for Lent, because I'm more of a do something for Lent, not give something up for Lent person. But when we do those sorts of things, it's kind of like we start with, oh, on Monday, I'm going to start fill in the blank, whatever that goal is, whatever that objective is. And, sometimes, when Lent is, starts on a Wednesday, for Lent, I'm going to fill in the blank. And so we decide that we're going to do this thing. And we just decide, like, kind of like we're going to go either, depending on if you're giving up something or doing something. If you're giving up something, we're going to go cold turkey on this, arbitrary date, right? Or we're going to go, full in, on this arbitrary date if you're doing something. But the problem with that is a lot of times we fail because the first day that we don't do the thing, right? Then we throw the whole thing out. And we don't give ourselves credit for the fact that change is hard. Doing something different, doing something new is not like a light switch. It's not like you turn on a light switch and then all of a sudden you are going to do this new thing that you didn't have the ability, desire, discipline to do the day before. It's difficult. And what I found in my personal life and just there's, research that backs it up is that when you prepare yourself, especially mindset wise, because it's not the physical things, it's the mindset that is actually the thing that needs to change for you to be successful at changing habits or picking up new habits, right? So it's the mindset that needs to change. And it is also, gradual change tends to be longer standing than trying to, be perfect. They're trying to, just turn on that light switch, right? So, because of that, what I've done several times when I'm trying to transition to a different way of being, what I've done is I do what I call a soft launch. So, in marketing, a soft launch, maybe refers to, a digital product or a course or something, or maybe the business itself coming out. And you may do like a soft launch where you're kind of putting your feelers out there, right? For different type of business, you may have a soft, I've seen people do soft grand openings. A lot of times restaurants will do that where they, have a like, invitation only type of opening where it's a small group of people come in. The staff has to act like it's actually the opening and they have the menu set and they are doing the things so they can see where the issues are and work out the kinks before they do the actual big grand opening, right? And so I'm gonna pause for a second because I want to just emphasize this point. Don't be afraid to take ideas from other places. Like that doesn't just have to apply to your business or a business. It can apply to your regular everyday life. So don't be afraid to be creative and take ideas and concepts and turn them on their heads, right? So, excuse me, when it comes to life and goals and those types of things, you can use that concept of a soft launch. You can, you know, ease your way into doing the thing. And a lot of times that's going to be more sustainable than if you just say, oh, today I'm deciding that I am no longer, and I use like health and weight loss and all that stuff as an example, just because I use it often because it's something that we all typically can relate to for whatever reason, either because your doctor said you have to, cut out salt or, whatever the reason is, we all have some reason why especially as we get older, that we have to adjust ourselves to those types of things. So I use it just because it's more universal. But if you decide I want to, you know, I'm giving up um sweets, but you have a huge sweet tooth, you may not be able to just cut that off. If you do, you could put yourself in a situation where you're having stronger cravings or you're having withdrawals from that sugar that can result in headaches, that can result in all kinds of things that may sabotage you from completing your goal. Instead of going all in and saying, this is what I'm going to do, you can do more of a soft launch and say, okay, I'm going to, let's say there's the one particular thing that you maybe do every day. Maybe you have, um, you know, a one of those, fancy coffees every day that has, you know, 4 million sugars in it, if you start reading all the stuff, you start freaking out, right? But so maybe I'm going to remove that from my day, or I'm going to put one less syrup in my coffee. Maybe I put 3 pumps and I'm gonna go down to 2. That is a much easier transition, and you keep increasing that as you go. Or you say, okay, I'm gonna try to see if I can make it through the day without any added sugar. Excuse me. I'm gonna see if I can make it through the day without any added sugar. And you see how it goes, and you see what happens. So maybe you make it to 3 p.m., but you start to feel weird. And so then that gives you an opportunity to do trial and error. Okay, so I can do without it, but I'm getting this headache. And you can look into why is that and start to, make accommodations accordingly. Or if the thing is that you want to go to the gym more often, and, day one, saying, I want to go to the gym. Like, had a plan this morning to wake up and do a workout, and my body was not in agreement, in accordance. But instead of, having that mentality of I gotta be all in, I gotta be all in, my thought process is, okay, I can't do that today, but what can I do today? And so it's that soft launch. It's that um I'm committed, but I'm giving myself the grace to ease into this process so that I'm not defeated if it doesn't go perfectly. Because in life, in business, nothing's going to go perfectly. And change and transition is bumpy. So give yourself a soft launch. And if you want to, again, just like if you use the example of the restaurants, they have the grand opening date. It's set. So if in this instance your grand opening date was, for Lent, I mean, it's here now, so we can't go backwards on that one. But let's say, for the future, if that's the grand opening date, then you just backdate. Then you just say, what, the week before, I'm going to start doing this thing. And the same thing with your business. If you are thinking about doing a new thing and thinking about bringing on a new product, you can tease it before you actually put it out there, right? You can tease it, you can, talk about it, build the hype behind it, and get that, into play before you actually say that that's what I'm doing. Or if, let's say, you're creating content and you want that content, you want to be consistent in creating that content. Well, before you make an announcement, I'm going to be here every, whatever with this, just throw it out there a few times. Just, do a few flashback Fridays or whatever the thing is. Do it a few times. Get yourself into the rhythm. At the same time, you're getting your audience into a rhythm. And then once you realize, okay, this is what is sustainable, this is what I can keep up with and keep a commitment to, then you can make an announcement and say, hey, I'm going to be here every this at this time doing this thing, because you've built internally you've, shown yourself that I can do this and I can commit to this. And then externally, you can then say, hey, we are open for business. So I say all that to say, try out soft launches, try out easing yourself into a new thing, understanding we are human and doing a new thing is always going to have some challenges. And you stumbling and doing a new thing is not you failing at doing a new thing. It's you getting acclimated to doing it. It's you, setting yourself up for success. The reason the restaurants do the soft launches is because they don't want to crash out in front of their clients, right? The soft launch is the opportunity to start getting it right because they want to open this restaurant. They just want to make sure they got it right. The same thing with your goals. You want to do the thing. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you stumble and then you're like, I quit because you told yourself, oh, I'm going to, because we also set these goals up. That's a different conversation, but we also tend to set these goals up in a way that is like pass or fail. That's not a good way to set up goals. But because that's a tendency is, well, I'm going to, give up, this thing, or I'm going to do this thing. And the first time you mess up and do what you weren't supposed to do, or you don't do the thing, then you abandon. So give yourself time to that grace period. It's kind of like, with your bills and stuff like that, they give you that grace period. You got to the 10th, to pay this bill and not be penalized. Give yourself that grace period to, you know, get acclimated to a thing without the penalty. That way, once the actual live, thing has launched, right? And you're in it, you already you already got a groove. You already are on top of it. And so you can ease through moving forward because you've given yourself the opportunity to see the pitfalls, to learn your mistakes. You may realize, oh, like I remember when I was working, I knew that if I didn't change into my gym clothes before I left work, I was going to end up at home. I knew it. So I learned that about myself, that I needed to change into those clothes to make sure I made it to the gym, because now I got the clothes on. I look silly if I don't go ahead onto these people's gym. So give yourself an opportunity to learn, give yourself an opportunity to make mistake without your internal judgment, and give yourself the opportunity to ease into new experiences, into changes, into um, the next version of you, right? Because that way you can just kill it once you have gotten worked out the kinks, right? Work out those kinks. And another thing that is really good is just, um, and if you haven't read the book, the 12-week year, read the book because it talks about a lot of this type of stuff. But another thing is to take it pieces at a time. So, like, your goal has multiple parts. You don't have to do all the parts at one time. Like, you might want to, drink more water, eat better, work out this many days or whatever. Like, you don't have to start on day one doing all the things, because it's hard um to to do that level of change all in one foul swoop. So you might want to say, this week I'm going to hit my water goal. Like by the end of this week, I want to be hitting my water goal. And then next week, I might want to add to that, I'm going to hit my step goal. Same thing with your business. This week, I'm going to make sure that I am posting consistently, right? Next week, I'm going to work on making sure that I'm sending out emails to my email audience. Build build it up over time because it's, again, more sustainable. We want what's sustainable. It's more important to be sustainable than to go all in and then quit after 3 days. So that's what I got for you guys. Soft launch. Try soft launches. Um, and again, in all areas of your life, it could be even in your relationship. You want to, spend more time together. Soft launch it. Don't put the pressure. You don't have to, make the proclamation that this day is date night on today. You could just silently go and plan a date and then plan the next one. And then after a few times, you got a habit. Or maybe it's just, having a conversation at the end of the day and you just sneak it in. And next thing you know, you've built a habit. So try soft launches. Trying to think of what else is going on in the workflow world. Let's see. Um, Definitely got a lot of things going on behind the scenes. The Calendar Detox Challenge is going on right now, and we'll be coming up on the next version, the next round of Capable Confident in April. I'll share with y'all on the next episode some other stuff that's going on behind the scenes. But just, check the show notes, stay on the email list, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for listening to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with ease. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram. For more information about building your luxury brand, register for my upcoming luxury brand workshop at CoachDanniD.com.